If I was you, I'd be asking for a refund. Everything they do for DOC, they need to defund. Lazy guards, double cells, everything in here is hell. You ever been to the county jail praying that you get some mail? Then you hit receive and all the stories, can't believe them. I thank God that I'm alive, I thank God that I'm still breathing. After COVID, wearing masks, everyone's sad. How did a virus know a budget? It really makes me laugh. We had good times, bad times, but still it made us strong. It was hard to be accountable, I had to right my wrongs. But now I'm long and forgotten, they forgot about me.
Welcome to another compelling episode of the Defund DOC podcast. Your number one premium community to hear true prison stories, conniving prison politics, and radical prison reform solutions that will end recidivist crime in America once and for all. Please welcome our hosts, Linda Thompson and Daniel J. Sims, as they delve into another hard-hitting and thought-provoking episode.
Welcome to the Defund DOC podcast. I'm Linda, and with me is Daniel J. Sims.
Welcome, friends, family, and community. Thank you for joining us on this amazing episode of Defund DOC. We have a lot of news to get to. We have an exciting guest, two of them. One is the tragic story of the innocent man, Jason Charles, out of Ohio, and the former NFL player, Raymond Fisher. Okay, so just to start us off, we got some news that we want to share. I would like to do one small moment of silence for Bruce Johnson. Bruce Johnson was the nation's most knowledgeable lawyer in regards to freedom of speech. He worked out of David Bright Tremaine. Paul Bright, the owner of Prison Legal News, wrote an article about him. He died on August 20th. He was a fierce defender of free speech and an attorney that really went after those that infringe upon our rights as an American to speak against corrupt systems. And this is something that Defund DOC has a lot of experience facing retaliation and whatnot. We're dealing with that currently as we speak in regards to an infraction I was just recently given by a man named Sergeant E-Step at Airway Heights Correction Center. This man falsely infracted me for, well, first off, this man had falsely infracted me over a year ago for aiding and abetting assault. He took me to the hole, and I spent over 80-something days in solitary on a bogus infraction where I was literally, all I was doing was trying to break up a fight, and instead of being applauded for my peacekeeping, they infracted me for aiding and abetting assault. And they kept me in torturous solitary confinement over 80-something days, and then gave me an override upward and gave me diesel treatment, moved me over to Columbine Correction Center, and then once I get there, they reversed the infraction down to aiding and abetting a fight, and then I take it to the Court of Appeals, and the Court of Appeals expunged it. I filed a civil rights lawsuit over it, and currently we just reopened it a few weeks back. Well, we're trying to reopen it and get an attorney appointed to it, but this is the prior issues that we've had with E-Step and Fitzpatrick. Anyway, he retaliatory infracted me on that because of my freedom of speech, because of my activism, because of the way that I carry myself. And, you know, that is extreme abuse of power. And so we're addressing that. And just so the audience knows, this was my very first interaction with E-Step since that infraction had been expunged. And what happened was I was sleeping, and they infracted me for sleeping because they said I was covered up and was disrupting count or whatnot, even though, you know, who can control at 11 o'clock? I'm in deep REM sleep. I go to bed at 9. Who can control that? Nobody. I covered up. I'm tossing and turning, and they infracted me for that. And so, anyway, I go to a hearing, and instead of just giving me a not guilty verdict, he finds me guilty and then gives me 5-day cell confinement, and so I just walk out. I'm going to deal with it the same way they harass us is doing with paperwork. I'm going to push paperwork. I do an appeal process. So I leave the office. I go to church, and then I come back, and my friend pulls me up and says, "Hey, everybody that went after you, E-Step gave suspended sentences." And so, as you can imagine, the indignation around that, I go into his office and I say, "What's going on with this disparity? Why would you do this?" You know what his response was? "Because I'm the hearings officer and I don't like what you're about." That's his response. And everybody that knows me knows what I'm about. I'm about prison reform. I'm about treating our people like human beings. I'm about justice. I'm about fairness. I'm about love. And for him to say that, It was so abusive. And anyway, as I'm responding to this, he says, now leave my office. As I'm responding to this and walking out of the office, trying to get out of the office, I was basically just going to say, well, that's abusive. And he pushes the button on me and says that I'm failing to disperse his office. And then lies in the infraction and says that he directed me to leave 4 times prior to this. I have a witness that was outside of his office. There's no other witnesses but him and me and the other gentleman that was there, and they witnessed it. So anyway, we proved that he was lying on the infraction, but yet the infraction is still pending. I'm still dealing with it. I got solitary confinement. I got shipped over to medium. And so a lot of my advocates, a lot of those amazing people out there that are helping, thank you so much. I appreciate you. So let's get to the news. Currently, we have a lot of news that's going on across the country that I wanted to share with you guys. In Alabama, a Metro jail guard named Robert Small was fired and arrested for assaulting and using excessive force against a detainee. In Alabama, 3 State Department of Correction guards were arrested. One was from St. Clair Correctional Facility named Jasmine Miller. Another was from St. Clair Jail, and she was booked in there. Another one was from Fountain Correctional Facility, Shaquisha Craig. She was caught after trying to bring in Black and Mild cigars and 2 bottles of Gatorade laced with alcohol. Another lady named Monica Blakeney at a Limestone Correctional Facility. She was arrested and charged with promoting prison contraband. In Arizona, a former state DOC guard Raymond Godoy, 33, was indicted on a sexual assault of an unnamed subordinate guard at Lewis State Prison in California. Prisoners were blaming a week-long lockdown at San Quentin over the undercooked boiled chicken that was served on July 3rd. In other news in California, the Los Angeles Times reported that a Federal Bureau of Prison guard Darrell Wayne Smith was charged with sexually abusing prisoners at the Federal Correctional Institute in Dublin. Many of you guys know that this is the prison known as the Rape Club, and what it is his new 15-count indictment supersedes one issued before in May 2023 arrest at his new Florida home. He was the 8th prisoner staffer charged in the sex scandal, which had resulted in the convictions of the federal prison and federal prison sentences for the other 7 people, including former warden Ray Garcia, and victims called Smith Dirty Dickie. That's how repulsive this was. And since we're focusing on Ohio, I wanted to share a couple of tidbits with you guys. Ohio is where Mr. Charles is from, Jason Charles, the episode we're speaking on. The former Corps Civic Guard Tierra Golden, 31, pleaded guilty to attempting to smuggle marijuana into the Northeast Ohio Correctional Center. She avoided prison time on sentencing. So another person avoiding prison time. If you're on the other side of the blue line, you get suspended sentences. You don't get charged with crime. Advanced Media Ohio reported that an investigation by the State Highway Patrol led to the indictment on July 12, 2024, of Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections Special Operations Lieutenant David Pearson. He faced a first-degree misdemeanor charge of negligent homicide in Pickaway County Common Pleas Court for the fatal shooting of Southern Ohio Correctional Facility guard Lieutenant Rodney Osborne on April 9, 2024. This is profound because the episode that we're doing today is in regards to Jason Charles, and this man was defending himself. A known person to him came to his home and started shooting at him, and in defense, he shot back and thankfully stopped his attacker by, defending himself, self-defense, and they gave this man an enormous sentence. He's been incarcerated 18 years currently, or actually I think it's more than that. I think it's 20 years now, and they just recently gave him another 10 years. So if you're on the blue line, you'll get charged with a misdemeanor for a homicide case that is cloudy. If you're poor and black, then you're going to be charged to the full extent of the law, and you're going to be kept in prison for as long as possible, because that's how racist the system is, And so we definitely need to bring attention to stuff like that, and that's why we have this amazing episode. Thank you so much for Linda helping us get this edited. This is an amazing episode that's going to address quite a few subjects. So, yeah, we're just going to get right into this amazing episode. Thank you so much for joining, and here we go.
We have a couple special guests with us today, Jason Charles and Raymond Fisher. Welcome to the podcast. Can you each tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Yes, how you doing? My name is Jason Charles. I'm currently in a situation that's kind of a little bit hard to handle, but I'm making do with it for the most part. I just want to share my story with you guys so you guys can see what's really going on in the world.
My name is Raymond Fisher. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I went to Glenville High School, went to Indiana University, got drafted to the Colts. He's actually a new friend that I met, and the things that's going on with him really shouldn't happen. A lot of things show that man is innocent for real. My whole thing is why I want to help him is because when you're protecting your family, it should never be a problem within that situation. No drugs involved. It was nothing of the sort. For a man like that, protecting his family should never make sense. People basically saying that if somebody comes to my house and try to kill me and my family and I can't react, that actually is against my rights. Like, that's my right to take care of my family. Even if I got a felony, I should be able to protect my family. The things that happen to certain people, it really don't make sense. But as a person like me, I went to Indiana University. I know life. I have a different understanding. I've been paralyzed. I lost a lot of things in life. But the one thing that I do understand, that I have a right to protect my family. And that's, I'm talking about regardless of anything that ever goes on. If you can't protect your family, like, as a man, what are you here for?
Absolutely.
I'm not a politician. I'm not a lawyer. So I'm not speaking on the things that we all can read. And everything showed that he was actually protecting himself and his family. We don't know why things corrupt the way they are, but I know from the paperwork that's an innocent man.
I just wanted to add to what you're saying when you're speaking, because there's a lot of people like the same exact case that Jason's similar facts. What happened with you, Jason, is sad. There's no justice for you because you were defending yourself. And for the justice system to go so harsh on you, that's not justice, you know?
That's not justice. It don't make sense to a person who actually trying to protect their family.
So just to give our audience just a brief outline of what happened, Jason, could you kind of just give us like an elevator pitch of what happened, like a brief outline so that our audience can understand exactly what you're speaking on and what you went through?
The night of October 31st, 2004, this individual came to my home. We had a disagreement, right? It was over nothing for real. But he came with a gun, okay? So when I opened the door, the day before, a week before actually, his daughters had spent the night over my house. I was the godfather to his kids. So we had a decent report. It's just he was off drugs and he was going through some things. So this particular day he came over to get the items that belonged to him. So when I opened the door to come outside to give him the items that he went to retrieve, he upped the gun. So in the process of him upping the gun and he started to shoot, I shot back in response. So his gun jammed, and then I didn't even know he was hit. I just shot trying to run back up the stairwell because I had to go in through two doors, a screen door and a front door. So I'm on my porch, though. The way the car was turned, it was turned at an angle to where he didn't have no plans on talking to me. He had the door open facing my porch, and they were shooting at my porch as I was walking out my porch. So I couldn't do nothing but defend myself. So in the process of all of this, the driver hid the gun, took him to the hospital, didn't have no kids or nobody in the car in the process of this. Got to the hospital, put kids in the car, tried to make it seem like I walked up to the car and just shot this man in cold blood. And that's not what happened. The report showed that there were no car seats in the car. At the particular time, she was saying these kids were, I think Destiny was 2 years old and Simone was 8 months. So the kids have to have a car seat to the active age of 8 years old. And so there are no car seats in the car to confirm that story. Now, then on top of it, when they do the ballistics on the car, they see live rounds that he dropped in the car that proved that he was discharging the firearm at my house that matched the rounds that he discharged at my home. They did GSR on both his hands. They seen he was shooting, so they knew the driver removed the gun. They withheld all this evidence. I went through 5 different lawyers in the process of this. They made me sit in the county jail for 5.5 years, bouncing me around because I didn't have the proper finances at the time to defend myself. My lawyer later ended up being arrested or disbarred for prostitution and a whole bunch of other little situations. He forced me to take an 18 to life plea. I take the plea. I do my time. I go to the parole board. Now, mind you, I had a few conduct reports throughout me doing 20 years in prison. I had a 10-year period where I received 26 conduct reports, okay?
I just got to interject real quick. Jason, man, I applaud you. That's a small amount of infractions to get in that amount of time. And for them to hold you back from parole for that is absurd. Just so you know, the defund DOC believes that infractions are the modern-day psychological whip. You know what I mean?
You're right.
Yeah. It's a way to keep us behind bars or to demonize us. Why are they keeping us from our families and our communities? They try to find every reason they can do it to keep you in. So I applaud you for only having 20. I got 80-something, so go ahead.
Right. But this is the thing. Out of those infractions, right, I only have 2 actual physical altercations in 20 years out of those infractions.
Wow.
So I'm not in a gang. I'm not gang affiliated. I'm not in a gang. And so you got to understand, like, these are things that I have to deal with inside of here. And then for me to go to the parole board and then I present the evidence to them and I show them that I'm actually innocent, I was defending myself in self-defense, and for them to say, here goes 10 more years, after I just gave you 20, that I shouldn't even have gave you, all because I didn't have the right representation. And then on top of it, now you want to flop me again? And you didn't even ask me about the circumstances surrounding the case. You requested the paperwork. I forwarded you the paperwork, and you didn't even take none of it into consideration. How is that fair? I feel like if I didn't have a celebrity friend and if I didn't have you guys, my voice would have never been heard.
Jason, can you elaborate or expand a little bit in regards to this parole board? Because I've heard a lot of shady stuff is happening with that parole board in Ohio.
Yeah. Listen, this lady named Shirley Smith, she was a part of the parole board, okay? She was a Democrat at the time, and she was on the parole board, and she exposed them for their unethical acts and their unfair and frightening law practices, right? And this guy named Steve Herron, Glenn Holmes, Lisa Hoying, Scott Whitmer, and Mark Holt, they were all on the panel too as well, and she exposed every last one of these people, every last one of them. They don't look at our cases and take our cases by case in consideration on no level. They already had their mind made up when you go to the parole board. They said that I had what did they say? I'm going to read it word for word for you. Hold on.
When you look at your paperwork, at the end of the day, it shows somebody who's like, he's not guilty of nothing. Like, a man like that, he deserves the world.
Yeah.
20 years. He deserved the world. Like, he didn't lost his family. Like, I'm just meeting this man, and I'm grateful to have him. So I would do anything in my power to actually help this man.
And you are helping them, Raymond, man. You're doing a public service. And just on a side note, we applaud you for being a part of social justice. This is what we need. We need more people like you that are brave, that will stand up for the voiceless. They keep us so that we can't have no voice. And we need more people like you.
I appreciate it.
And Jason, so what did they say?
Their reasons for saying that they didn't give me a parole was they said I had an undeveloped release plan when they never asked me about my release plan, first of all. And second of all, I got millionaires for friends. My friends are multimillionaires. So how did I have an undeveloped release plan? Now, let's get that part on.
Wow.
Then they said right here, I didn't take accountability, and my case was callous and brutal, and I didn't take accountability for my actions. Now, my question to you is this, right? If you're at home with your family and somebody comes to your house unannounced and they shoot at you while your daughter and the mother of your daughter's right there, and you're only defending yourself, I didn't leave, I wasn't in the commission of a felony, you feel me? What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to feel about that? You're asking me to feel remorse or compassion for a situation when, how? I got to protect my family. I feel sorry for what transpired with the individual, but I didn't bring you there. I didn't put you there, and I didn't ask you to do this. You forced my hand. So it's my family now over you. I'm not trying to sound callous or I'm not trying to sound heartless in any way, but what am I supposed to do? What was I supposed to do? And I told them at the parole panel, you're not taking me and my situation into consideration. You're not looking at the facts. You don't care about the facts. The guy told us you should have took it to trial. I said, take it to trial. I got forced into a plea. They kept me in the county jail 5.5 years. 5.5 years till I copped out. I went through 5 different lawyers. That's unheard of. I did a prison term in the county jail. Who does that?
I wish I would have went to school for some lawyer stuff because I would eat their ass up.
No, you're doing good. Both of you guys, I know you're in the midst of the struggle, Jason, but this is an outrage. 5 years in the county jail for self-defense, and if you were elite when this happened, or if you had big money when this happened.
Man, at the end of the day, like, why do it take somebody like me? That shit don't make sense to me. What I did didn't cost me nothing. All I did have to do is text a good friend, and that don't cost you nothing. he thanked me every single day, and I'm like, bro, you really don't owe me because I didn't have to do nothing. I have friends.
I owe you my life. I owe you my life, bro, because you're the only one who didn't turn your back on me, bro. You're the only one, bro. You're the only one, bro. I owe you my life.
Yeah, that's that love. We can hear that love and that emotion in there. Yeah, that's cool, man.
That's not fair.
No, it's not fair. It's not fair.
They owe us so much. Like, I couldn't imagine being away from my family for that long. I got ran over by a car. I lost my greatest thing by getting ran over by cars. But one thing I learned that life is not about me no more. So everything I learned is for my kids and for my friends. I can't let him sit in there like that when I know I can help.
Yeah, we're going to try to get Jason out of there, man. You know, he doesn't deserve to be in there, like you said, man. He deserves the world, and we're going to fight, man. We're going to have the defund DLC community rally around you, man, and let the public know about the injustices that is happening. It's absurd that you're over here defending yourself, and 18 years later, you go before the parole board, and they want to take some petty infractions you've had in prison and use those as a pretext.
On nobody. He ain't disrespect nobody at all. He ain't talk down on nobody. He just see his paperwork and see what he's getting. That don't make sense. Imagine going to jail 18 years and not getting a fight. Now you get 2 extras. Like, you got to fight for your life in there.
Yeah.
But it's still like, this man is supposed to be free. It doesn't make sense. So basically, in the world, so I have a weed felony, and I was stated, but at the end of the day, so they're going to tell me that I can't protect my family because I have a weed felony. I didn't harm nobody. That don't make sense to me in life. I can't protect my family. So somebody can come in my house and kill me, and I can't protect them. What kind of law is that in the world? My family, my kids, my pride and joy, because I got a weed felony?
That don't make no sense. So, Jason, can you give the audience a little bit of understanding about Ohio's self-defense laws? Is there a self-defense law in Ohio, or how does that work?
Yeah, they have a self-defense law in Ohio, right? But the thing of it is I hate to say this, and I'm just going to be boldly about it, right? If you black, you ain't right. That's how I go here.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. Or if you ain't got no money, if you're growing up in the streets as well.
You ain't got no money, right? You ain't got no money, it ain't happening. That's the thing about it, right? That's exactly it. And this is the thing about it, right? I wanted to reiterate on this. When he stated that I had an undeveloped release plan, he never asked me about my release plan. He never asked me nothing. I'm in the process right now as we speak, you feel me, trying to do great things with my brother on the phone right here with Raymond. But I got to get out of here to forward the process. And the thing about it is they hold me back. They don't understand. I got millionaire friends. These people right here that I'm with every day and on the phone with all the time, these are my brothers. You think they about to let this keep happening to me? They're not. They're not.
So, Jason, is there an appeal process? Like, what is the steps that can be done to appeal this corrupt decision? Because if you're not going to review somebody's release plan and then say that they have an underdeveloped release plan, that's called corruption. You know what I mean? That's unethical.
This is what's going on right now. As we speak right now, my brother, he's connected with a few people. We currently have the mayor who supports us too. He's in support of us too. And right now, we're trying to get the paperwork on the governor's desk, see if he can grant me a pardon. Because I can't keep going in front of the parole board committee because they're going to keep flopping me because they even run the pardons. So I have to go around the parole board and go straight to the governor. And that's what we're trying to do right now.
It's like, we don't know the law. We need people like y'all and people who, the audience, to listen and try to understand his situation. Like, I know, I've been around certain places. Like, I went to Indiana University. Like, we don't got to take the obvious, but certain things come from there where it's not, black is not welcome. But we know that every law has a loophole, and the loophole is not for us. The loophole is literally for them. When they fuck up, now they can change it. It's not never for us because they don't teach us that. Especially being a black man, why would they teach us? We strong, we powerful, we smart, we educated. Why would they teach us more power than they already know? That don't make sense. We always they're trying to make us lax in a situation. Ignorance is literally not knowing. Not knowing should you ain't tell me.
Yeah, you hit right on the nose in regards to racism, because this is the thing. People don't want to admit it. People don't want to acknowledge it, but this system came from racism. It came from slavery. Literally on the back of the 13th Amendment, which was at the end of slavery, that they created a new class of slavery. And so when the government is incentivized to incarcerate people, they're going to put people like Jason behind bars that shouldn't even be there, you know? And so that's why we're trying to expose DOC for what it is. It's modern-day slavery, and they have a reverse incentive to keep people in prison, you know?
Jason, can you tell us a little bit about your childhood?
I come from a single-family home. My mom did her best to raise us. She worked 2 jobs. She started off as a secretary, and she worked her way up the chain, and she ended up becoming a nurse, LPN, now RN. Now she has her own practice. So I come from a humble beginning. You know what I mean? I played football just like my brother in school. I ended up getting hurt. Couldn't really go as far as he went, but you know, I got somewhere close to it, but not as far as he went. And I just tried. I mean, outside of that, prior to my incarceration, to fast forward, I had a job. I was working at Quail, which is shipping and receiving for the Ford plant, and I was working for DFI, which was the garbage company. So I had good jobs. I keep gainful employment. You know what I mean? I wasn't just out in the streets running crazy. You know what I mean? I was a law-abiding citizen up to, you know, I had some bumps and bruises with the law, but I ain't never shot and killed nobody. I ain't never did that. That's not something that I wanted to do or chose to do. That was something that I had to do to defend myself.
I don't like if somebody come in my house right now and try to harm me, and I got a felony and I kill him, man, well, take me in, because if you really don't tell me I can't protect my family, so I'm basically learned the wrong life since I've been growing up to protect my family. So you're gonna tell me you're gonna take my right from birth that I can't protect my family? As a father, as a mom, as a brother, as a sister, as a auntie, as a cousin, it don't sit right if I can't protect them. If we at a family gathering and somebody come and do some wild stuff, and I shoot or kill them. You got me bent for real. I don't want to like cuss. Like, it's not about that. It's like, if I'm mad, hell yeah, I'm cuss, because at the end of the day, it's not real justice. Like, we want equal rights every day. We can't question them because they sell our rights. They do us wrong without us even knowing, but we can't protect ourselves with knowing that we have to protect ourselves. That don't make sense.
Let me add to this while y'all real quick, and also too to speak on what my brother said. Also, the head prosecutor over the state of Ohio, Ron O'Brien, was all involved in $1 million scandal where they allegedly said millions of dollars was coming up missing from the Treasury, and these are the same people that's working up underneath this guy. Also, too, my brother is connected with the mayor, and he overlooked the paperwork, and he even had to question it and was like, "What is this? Like, why is this man locked up?"
It ain't like he wouldn't have did all this, but he just gave me some advice.
Let me ask you, Raymond, where does all this passion come from?
It's like when you see something wrong, like when you grow up and you know right from wrong, it's like how my parents taught me growing up. It ain't like I went and got a degree in this. Like, we know in life that like life is not about us no more. It's about how to help the next person. So like, it's nothing like, if I see something wrong, I'm going to do it. Like, somebody don't have to tell me. If I see the trash man go get took out, I'm not going to have somebody tell me. I don't care if I'm at your house or my house. It's going to be the same thing. So it's just the principle that I've been brought up on.
Absolutely.
Jason, how do you feel having Raymond in your corner?
I tell him all the time, he my NFL angel. I said, man, God put you in my life. He's my NFL angel, my brother from another mother. I love that guy. I love that man.
We don't understand why the universe do certain things, but like, we do have energy, and when energies connect, there's nothing you can do about it. It's the universe, it's ancestors, it's something that's set in stone that regardless, like, this thing needs to happen, because this can change a lot of lives. He probably could have got out before, but at the end of the day, we weren't met, and we might not change the lives that we could change. So, like, I'm happy that the things happen, but like, things don't happen to you, it happens for you. So in that sense, it's just like, calm down, dog. I got you. Like, you feel me? I got you.
So you kind of touched on this a little bit, Raymond. You talked to the mayor. What was the mayor's name, and like, what unfolded in that regard?
John Dunn. He was the former mayor of Portsmouth, Ohio, and he's from Jersey. He's a great guy. He's all about the kids. I'm not gonna get into talk about what's going on and stuff like that, because it's not in my power. But like, I know what he's doing is steering the place in the right way. He's sitting on the board. He understands people. He's a people person. He done taught me a lot of stuff with bringing people around. We're friends now. Like, I've been knowing him for a couple of years, and it wasn't like he wouldn't have did so much, but he just gave me a little advice. And that's actually a person like that. I have a friend like that. Like, maybe all that built up to everything I did in life, maybe with the mayor and all that stuff, maybe it just did just to help him. And we never know why life presents itself the way it is. It's a mystery. But we always question it. But, like, how you going to question the higher power? Like, I believe in a higher power. I know it's a God for sure, but, like, how you going to question something that already been written in stone? We walk on stone every day.
Absolutely. So, Jason, when you go back to your cell, what is the one thing that you would think that you might perhaps have thought, man, if I would have shared that with the audience, a moral of the story or something the audience can do for you? Just share what you think off the top of your head.
The one thing I want to share with the audience is this, right? When you amongst people in the public or you amongst people in the world, right, you never know if you're going to be entertaining the angel. So always be polite, be very respectful, and always be willing to help because you never know when you're going to need it.
You couldn't say it more better, bro.
That was profound, man. So just to add to that, is there anything that our audience can do for you? Like, do you need advocates for your cause? What can people do for you, Jason, to help you? You know what I mean?
I just want them to get the word out. If y'all can put some shirts out, get the word out, like make some noise for me so they can hear our voice. Because right now they can't hear our voice.
Jason, you mentioned that you want to get this out there, your story out there and heard. Would it help if we were to provide our listeners with an address for correspondence so they can get a hold of you? So
yes,
we
you can give them my getting out information, and you can give them the address where I'm currently incarcerated at.
Also, you presented us with probably more documentation than I've ever been presented with, so we can post that as well, just so people can see all the documents that you have and all the proof, because you do have a lot of proof. So I'll make sure that stuff is linked in the podcast description.
Thank you. And for everybody who's listening, I definitely appreciate your help, and I'm grateful. And trust me, it won't go unnoticed. When I step out of here, I'll do my best to try to reach back and grab 2 or 3 for myself.
Absolutely, man. This is the way it works, man. We got to pay it forward, man. I'm in the same boat as you. And I just want to get as many people as I can out of here, man. I don't wish this on my worst enemy. I feel like future generations are going to condemn this current age for the waste of human life that is existing in this corrupt system of mass incarceration. You know, the way that they're stealing people's labor, the way that they're extracting money from our families and our friends, the way that they're separating us from our innocent children. Do you have any children, Jason?
You want to hear the crazy thing about it? I do have some children, and you know what's crazy? I haven't seen them in 20 years because of the situation.
Oh, that's so sad. And you know what? My heart goes to you, Jason, because I'm dealing with the same thing with my son. You know, this system they're separating us from our innocent children, and then our children grow up mad at us, and they don't have no understanding. And man, I just hope someday that your children will hear this and know the love that you have for them. And I'm just so sorry.
The way we can get you out, because it seems like you kind of in the same boat too. Like, I'm here to help everybody. At the end of the day,
right. I was just thinking about
those stuff ain't
going help you out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're currently trying to fight for clemency on my case as well. Like I said, I've been in prison 20 years on a drug dispute. That could happen to anybody that bought drugs on the street. I got into a dispute over the prices. He didn't want to give my money back, so it turned into an alleged robbery, and now I'm basically got a death sentence. So I've been fighting to get out of here as well, you know. And, man, I thank you for your offer of help, man. Definitely might need a letter of support down the road or something. I'll take your help if I can get it.
Depending on the situation. Like, I know a lot of people, like, the things that I did, like, with all my sports and stuff, like, I done met a lot of people. Like, it's, like, that's the things that make me grow and make me learn to be a better person and understand what welfare is for a family. Like, I'm learning, but on the way, I understand that life is, like I said, not about me no more. Without, like, that, just like you said, that man's smart. He's intelligent. Like, people like that, like, at the end of the day, like, he's more powerful out than anyone. I can't wait for him to get out because I train kids, and I coach kids and stuff, and like I have a story behind me too, with me getting ran over by cars, stopping my football stuff. But like our story together can change a lot of people's lives.
That's what I tell Daniel, too. I was just telling him something like that the other day because he deals with a lot of hate because of the fact that he's not afraid to use his voice and speak out. And he's been dealing with some stuff, and not to say too much, he kind of just wants to get out of where he's at now, which that's a long story, but I was telling him the other day that everything that's happening could be happening all because there's like a bigger picture coming. He's going to change things for everyone else.
Things don't happen to you, they happen for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. The guards have been harassing me, man.
Listen to this. I tried to go to the library a couple of days ago, right? Prior to similar situation, and I went to go get my paperwork copy so I can send it to my brother. The librarian, she pushed the panic button after she got to read my paperwork, and she decided she didn't want to copy it, all because I told her, like, you're not a lawyer, you're not supposed to read that. You're only supposed to copy it. And she put me in the hole. And then I get out the hole the same day, right? So I go back, I call him, I tell him what's going on. The sergeant hears my ticket and tries to put me in the hole 3 days later behind it. Then I have everybody call up here, and when they call up here, all of a sudden they had to change a heart.
Yeah, you know that's exactly the same thing that we're dealing with. Yes, they use their power to silence us, and that's all I can say, man, is just keep doing what you're doing, Jason. Linda has to constantly tell me the same thing. We're in the belly of the beast.
Dealing with his stuff, he did his time already.
Yeah, it said that he had done his time, and then June
18th.
Yeah,
10 more years for nothing.
That's an outrage. We got to bring some attention to yours. We're going to for sure do another part to this.
I just try to tell him every day, like, imagine a person who, like, when that man get out, you basically telling him, you got to let everybody run up on you and harm you, and you can't protect yourself. That's basically that's 100% what they're trying to tell you. You can't protect your fucking self or your family. The one, you don't think he's going to you don't think he's going to protect me after I just did all this for him? You don't think he's going to protect me? Come on.
The thing about it, see the paperwork, and they see all the black and white, and they see everything. They're going to see these people for who they really are. They're going to see the injustice.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Even close to it, I know some people, but when I read it, I know it's wrong. You just know what's right and wrong, and what evidence is what's evidence.
If somebody's shooting at you, you have the right to shoot back in self-defense. You know what I mean? It's an outrage that he's been in prison 18 years.
To just run and possibly get shot and killed, then my family get killed because you got this made-up law that only protect you and your family.
That's funny you say that because me and Linda, that's one of the things that we like exposing is that it seems to be like a two-track justice system.
There's one track for poor people, minorities, and those with mental health, and there's another track for those that are rich and have power, the elite. It's a two-track system.
I don't know how you feel, Jason, but I've never met a multimillionaire in prison because they don't come to prison. They get up out of here. So this is a system that's not fair. We're definitely going to try to bring more attention to the injustice in your case, man.
So we appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you guys. Don't forget everybody that you leave behind when we get you up out of here. You know what I mean?
Hey, we already know.
All right.
Our next target is helping you out. You the next target. We got to get you together. You helping everybody else. We got to repay it forward and get you.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that.
We might need Trump or something to get you out. We don't know what might be in there.
We're going to figure it out.
And Raymond, just keep lending your voice to social justice, man, because there's a lot of injustices happening across the country. You got a powerful platform.
Thank you. I thank y'all because I actually didn't know how powerful I was. I appreciate it.
You've been given a lot in your life, and at this point, you're trying to give everything back.
You have 1 minute left.
Trying to give everything back.
It's been so nice talking with you and hearing your story.
No, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, friends, another episode is over. We want to keep improving this podcast, so we need your suggestions, for future episodes. Also, as you know, I have been in prison almost 20 years, so if you have any questions about the criminal justice system, feel free to ask and I will try to answer it. Please email your suggestions or questions on our website. Do you have a social media community that you can share our posts with? Please join our social media platforms and share our posts. That really helps. Also, I know you are busy, but taking one moment to do a review would help us tremendously. Thank you all.
Start the long and forgotten, threw away the key. Gone and forgotten, they forgot about me. Long and forgotten, threw away the key. Gone and forgotten, defund DOC. If I was you, I'd be asking for a refund. Everything they do for DOC, they need to defund. Lazy guards, double cells, everything in here is hell. You ever been to the county jail praying that you get some mail? Then you hit receive and all the stories, can't believe them. I thank God that I'm alive, I thank God that I'm still breathing. After COVID, wearing masks, everyone's sad. How did a virus know a budget? It really makes me laugh. We had good times, bad times, but still it made us strong. It was hard to be accountable, I had to right my wrongs. But now I'm long and forgotten, they forgot about me.